Yeah, it's a Guy Ritchie movie.
Well, something, look before you jump.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, it
man.
is late. We're talking about the new Guy Ritchie film,
The Gentleman.
which I will say this, compared to his last work, at least feels like a Guy Ritchie film.
It's better than Aladdin. I'll tell you that much. Jesus fuck.
Small endorsement.
Let's see.
I'm curious what you thought of this.
Well, I have a bit of a bias. I'm a huge fan of the classic Guy Ritchie style. Lock, Stock, especially the director's cut, and Snatch were two movies that were really big for me back in the day. But even things that came after that, like Revolver and Rock and Rolla, like you could see his style in it. It was interesting.
Yeah.
He's really big on convoluted stories that have a bunch of different characters walking through them and, you know, exploding as they interact. And it's, you know, when he made The Man from U.N.C.L.E., it was a very different approach to that. It wasn't nearly as complicated. Yeah. It had plenty of charm. It was funny. It had good action.
And you and I both really like Man from U.N.C.L.E.
That was a great time. But it's been a long time since I've seen a Guy Ritchie movie like this. Now,
unabashedly a Guy Ritchie film.
Absolutely.
Like, it has his marker, like his fingerprints all over it.
This is a Guy Ritchie movie like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a Tarantino movie.
Basically.
It is 100% self-indulgent. It is him making the kind of shit he loves making. He's basically just saying like, look how great I am. Like for most of the movie. And I'll watch him do that. It's kind of a treat that you don't really get that often.
True. This is one of those movies, I'm in a weird place, but I can't decide if I liked it or not.
I loved it.
Do you love it? Okay.
I really loved it.
Because some parts I really liked about it, other parts I was kind of more iffy on.
Yes, but I don't expect to 100% love a movie.
True, very true.
That's not a usual thing.
But usually I can like gauge whether or not like a movie's bad thing to overcome like its flaws to me, and this one I'm having a hard time making that distinction.
When it comes to filmmakers like just basically jerking off for 2 hours.
Yeah.
There will come a point in the movie pretty early on when I decide whether or not I'm going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
With that aspect of it. And that's part of the whole thing that you got to make peace with when watching. Like I'm going to compare it to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, it's a fair comparison.
Because it really is that kind of like, do you like what I do? Do you like people just hanging out pointlessly doing what I like them doing? Because if you do, welcome. If not, fuck off. You paid me. So with that in mind, 100%, this is that kind of Guy Ritchie movie.
For sure.
Now, what's weird about it is that I do feel like he's trying to be a little bit edgier.
In a lot of ways, yeah, I can feel that too. Like it feels like it's like Goodfellas mixed with a little bit of Train Spotting.
I don't see that.
You don't see that?
No,
okay.
But because I don't like Goodfellas.
It's more like as far as like narrative structure goes.
No, I guess, but Goodfellas was a little more broad in scope.
True.
I'm not a big fan of the classic Scorsese gangster style.
Fair enough.
I'm just not. It doesn't click for me. I hated The Irishman.
Fair enough.
It's not to say that it's a bad movie. It's a really good movie. I just really don't care for any of it.
And that's,
and you know that's just what I like. But
I still have not seen The Irishman, so I have no opinion.
If you're not into it, it's a slog. If you're into
it's a long ass movie. That's why I haven't made time for it.
I'm
yet.
down to sit down and review it with you at some point if you do watch it.
We'll eventually make a Netflix show.
Even though it's been a while. I've been thinking about that actually.
Yeah.
Because Netflix has a lot of original content.
It's on my list of things to do.
But as far as it goes, as just a movie, like if you're not into Scorsese doing his thing, you're gonna be bored shitless, which I was by the 2-hour mark of the 3.5-hour movie. So whatever, I didn't care about any of those characters.
But anyway, I mean, like far as like telling like the gangster story mixed with like the grittiness of
I get
Train
that
Spotting.
But weirdly, I think you're comparing it to Train Spotting because you don't have a lot of other things to compare it to.
In this category,
not to be a dick about it.
No. It's valid.
Just because I fucking love Guy Ritchie, so.
I mean, as far as like, if we're looking like,
it's definitely not a Danny Boyle movie.
No.
Yeah.
I'm mostly using Train Spotting just for more like the drug analogies and the narration device and a bit more of the.
There was one junkie scene.
Yeah, but it's all kind of has that same kind of griminess.
That reminded me more of Pulp Fiction than anything, honestly.
Fair enough.
Again, another Tarantino, but that's the interesting thing happening right now. It's you are basically in a world where directors are just going full bore with what they want to do.
Yeah. Which good on them. Like whether you liked it or not, you gotta respect someone who's like, this is what I want to do, and I did it.
Whether you're talking about Tarantino or Scorsese or Guy Ritchie, you're talking about directors that have very distinctive styles, that have very distinctive tastes, and want to do what they want to do. And same in regards to soundtrack.
As long as you leave Batman and Superman alone. Sorry, had to make that one joke in there. Continue.
Well, we'll see. I want to see what Nolan does with this next movie because it is going to be just as self-indulgent.
Oh, God, yeah. Like I've seen the trailer.
But I am in.
I'm not gonna
down
lie.
for that bullshit.
I'm not gonna lie. I was one that pretentious kid when Inception came out. Like that was one of those brilliant films I've ever seen.
I still love it.
I still like it too, but I've had more time to think about it. It's like, there's a lot of bullshit in that movie.
Dude, that movie is literally like 60% people explaining how the movie works.
And
so much of that movie is just set up for the final scenes.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, sure.
Like, it really was one last divergence, I'll get back to the topic. I think it was a comedy, College Humor had a skit about it when they came making it more and more complicated. And then it's like, why isn't it that complicated? And they all at the same time go, 'cause simple is bad.
And there's God, was it? There's something about the sheer fucking nerve of that. The fact that someone is like, all right, basically about half an hour of this movie is going to be the movie itself. The rest is going to be a very elaborate pitch meeting for how the rules work. But, again, self-indulgent directors. Either you're down for what they're doing, or you're not. Darren Aronofsky, huge fan.
Oh, gosh.
Some people, not so much.
Nah. I'm not a Darren Aronofsky fan.
I fucking love I love Mother so much.
I know you do.
It's just a ride.
I fucking hated it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's bring it back. But
I like Black Swan.
Point being, The Gentleman is Guy Ritchie being Guy Ritchie to a T.
Mm-hmm.
There's a weird amount of especially near the beginning, there's a weird amount of vulgarity and random racism thrown in.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off.
And that's what I'm saying when it feels kind of off, because when you're dealing with his other movies, especially Snatch and Lock, Stock, it managed to have that edge and that grit without bringing that kind of thing into it. People, would swear a lot, but it doesn't feel like they're doing it just to be edgy. It just feels like what they're like.
Yeah.
And Hugh Grant felt like a forced character for the most part.
Although I have to admit, I do like Hugh Grant.
He grew on me.
Yeah.
Because I came to realize that this was just his character.
Yeah, Hugh Grant's one of those actors who is just aged like fine wine. He's gotten better with age when he's allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants.
It's good to see him as the smarmy reporter in a Guy Ritchie movie, swearing a bunch and being really cute and sassy. And
dude, his character
stupid,
in Paddington 2 is one of the best of the decade.
Really?
Dude,
I need to see it.
Watch.
I've heard Paddington and Paddington 2 are actually near perfect movies.
They're so goddamn charming and lovable. I'm not gonna say anything about Hugh Grant's character. Just fucking watch it.
All right,
you're gonna love it.
I'll do it.
There's
a
whole scene where he has a conversation with himself, and it's amazing.
All right, I'll figure it out. But so, as far as this goes, it's basically, if you're looking for a Guy Ritchie movie, you're gonna get a Guy Ritchie movie. Yeah. But you're gonna get it with full-blown masturbating director stance, because it does this thing where he starts talking. Because so Hugh Grant's character is a reporter who has investigated all this stuff and is coming in with this script that he's written for a movie based on the events that the movie is itself. So it's kind of a movie within a movie,
yeah.
But it's not really a movie within a movie so much as that it's a guy doing a pitch meeting
Yeah.
for his script, which is being displayed as a movie as he's describing it within the movie. So it has a lot of fun with that mechanic. It has one of those things where a couple of scenes happen and they're like, that's not how that happened.
Yeah,
and he's like,
reliable narrator.
I wanted to spice it up a little bit. And no, it is very interesting with that. And he has a lot of fun with it. Charlie Hunnam is surprisingly... He works surprisingly well as a British dude, even though his accent slips a couple of times.
That was like one of the major negatives that I think kind of took me out of it. It's like, it's not a bad performance by a stretch of imagination.
Yeah.
It just didn't quite work for me as much as I wanted it to, especially when he's trying to be like really intimidating.
It did for me. It did, because he struck me as a guy who tried to be really polite until he could no longer be, and he was like, you have one more chance before I murder you.
Yeah, like I hear that in the text and I see that in the body language. This didn't really click with me personally.
All right,
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah,
but,
which fair enough. I like that actor. I've seen him on stuff where I liked him in. I'm like one of the 5 people that liked King Arthur.
I did not see King Arthur. I saw Sons of Anarchy though, which is what I'm used to him as.
Yeah.
Which weirdly was, I thought it would be difficult to take him as an Englishman.
Isn't he in Viking?
No.
No, who am I thinking of then?
Some other blonde, beardy, Nordic-looking dude who a lot of people want to fuck.
Sure.
He's a good-looking man.
There's no doubting that.
But yeah, I'm used to him in Sons of Anarchy, which I fucking hated.
Like Son of Anarchy?
I fucking hate Sons
I've
of
never
Anarchy.
watched it, but
It's bullshit machismo garbage with a lot of people making a lot of bad decisions all the way through, and a lot of people dying who don't need to die.
You sat through it all the way through.
I was somewhat forced to. And by the time I got to the end of season 6, I was like, well, I guess I'm in it to see what happens by the end. And there are moments in the last season where they're clearly meant to be very, affecting and profound and, emotionally powerful. But I hated all of the characters so much by that point that I really didn't care when the significant ones were killing each other. And they were supposed to be super dramatic. And I'm like, I'm bored. Just fucking shoot her. Like, oh God. And the last episode was so fucking stupid and pretentious. Just, I really...
Speaking of Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, right. No, I just really fucking hated Sons of Anarchy and how much people loved it. Because it's like it's written by some 20-year-old who has just discovered motorcycle culture and really fucking loves the Hells Angels and like just wants to do them proud by making a badass, heartfelt story about bikers with souls who just lost their way and have to find redemption. And
And I guess Tim Allen was too busy for Roadhogs 2.
Oh God. I might watch that and see if it's better.
Again, it's like, one of the 5 people that remembers Roadhogs.
No, I remember, because I don't remember watching it. I remember you talking about it.
Did I talk about it before? I don't even remember that.
Little bit. Just how defeated you were. But yeah, anyway.
Because I remember watching that as a kid because my dad watched it.
Talking about so many other fucking things right now. Because
it's midnight. It's 12:20.
I mean, because here's the thing. This is going to be the first 2 reviews we've done of the year will be us talking about other shit.
Like meandering bullshit. Like I think someone put a comment on the Doolittle review. You sound like 2 cranky old men ranting about the good old days until you get on a rant about what Ben Shapiro.
That was terrible. But I don't know how much I can really say about this movie outside of it being a Guy Ritchie movie. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about some of the things I like. Of course, like Matthew McConaughey is a lot of fun.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell's great.
Colin Farrell is absolutely exactly the kind of character I love him as.
Like, Colin Farrell is such an underrated actor. He will act the shit no matter what you give him.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever watch A Winter's Tale, which is just a fascinatingly bad experience just to go down, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Because it's batshit and there's nothing else I've seen like it.
Sure.
But it is such dumb bullshit, and he acts the ever-loving shit out of it. There's dude, you literally fucked a woman to death, and this happens. And it's taken 100% seriously. I'm not making this up.
Okay.
Russell Crowe talks in like an Irish accent. It's unintelligible.
Okay.
Will Smith is the devil.
Okay. Wait, what?
Yeah. Go watch Winter's Tale.
Shut up. Add this garbage to my watch list.
Anyway, so but yeah, my point is, love Colin Farrell. I don't care what he's in. I don't care what he's doing. I know whenever he's in something, I'm in for a good time, as long as they give him like an actual part to chew on. And he'll chew on it for all it's worth.
He chewed on it casually though, which I was impressed by.
And of course, like, I think the one thing that kind of bothered me about the movie a little bit was just like, man, does Guy Ritchie just hate young people? Yep, that's the one.
This is not a true story. It's a love story.
Yeah.
This Valentine's Day, believe in miracles.
Yeah. It happens.
A burglar falls for an heiress as she dies in his arms. When he finds out that he has the gift of reincarnation, he sets out to save her.
That's not quite accurate, but it will do.
Metascore of 31.
That's actually kind of impressive.
Yeah, movies get crazier and more incomprehensible every day, but you don't know Demented until you see Winter's Tale.
Now keep in mind, this was pre-Cats.
Wow. It's wrong-headed, it's horrendous, it's filled with lines of dialogue that are utter howlers, and yet it's the type of movie that feels so confident that it really is something. It is, in fact, not.
That one's actually pretty accurate.
Wow. Okay. Well. Oh! All right. Wow, this dude has a wildly varied writing career.
I did a whole review on it years ago.
Oh, I need to look that up.
This is like back when I was still doing like sketch comedy.
Oh, hang on. From the mind of the man who wrote Batman Forever and Batman and Robin,
comes with
the Lost in the Space movie,
oh man,
I, Robot, Practical Magic and a Beautiful Mind,
and Cinderella Man.
Cinderella Man, The Da Vinci Code, I Am Legend, Angels and Demons, Insurgent. Oh, Rings! He wrote oh my god, he wrote Transformers The Last Night.
That actually makes a lot of
The
sense.
Dark Tower movie. A few episodes of Star Trek Discovery. Oh god. What?
He wrote Picard.
He created Picard. Oh no.
Now I'm suddenly a lot more interested in watching Picard.
Oh, he's got 9 projects in development? Wow, this guy's doing
He's doing good for himself.
a lot of damage.
Don't know.
Anyway, so, Guy Ritchie.
Weird rabbit holes tonight.
Are we just going to be distracted every post-midnight movie we do?
I think it's just because it's fucking January.
Yeah, maybe.
And these I think it's also like the 2 late night reviews we've done.
So this is a good movie, okay? I enjoyed it. It's definitely pretentious. It definitely self-indulgent. It definitely just has characters being the characters for the sake of being the characters. It's definitely overly confident and very self-assured in its badassness.
Yeah. Which can get a little grating at times.
It can at times, but if you're down with it, then you're like, all right. At times I did understand Charlie Hunnam's character just sitting there being like, get to the point.
Yeah.
He is just as done with this bullshit as you are. And he just wishes Hugh Grant would fucking stop doing this bullshit that he's doing. But there are enough moments in the movie that are just really great character moments.
There are.
There's some legit laughs.
There are, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There's some wonderful just and
I'll say this, I couldn't really see where it was going.
No, did a good job with that. Did a good job dropping the weird twist on the end. And honestly,
the third act kind of does cram all the twists all at once.
It does give no fucks at a couple points when it comes to using things like, I don't know, sexual assault as a plot device.
That bothered me.
But
then again, that's also like, okay, they're going for the unreliable narrator tropes that just like throw in there, maybe.
Sure, maybe.
If you want to try to justify it.
But I thought there was one point where I was surprised they didn't drop a reference to Black Mirror.
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah,
I was like, please say it, and they didn't say it. I'm like, oh, but whatever. And if you've seen Black Mirror enough, then you know what we're talking about.
You'll know when you see it.
Yeah. But just overall, I had a good time. It gave me something that I wasn't exactly used to, and at the same time, something I missed in a lot of ways. Yeah. For its transgressions, I was like, okay, cringe, move on. there's enough good movie in there for me to be like, I could still recommend it, despite these couple of things that made me go,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm kind of more in the middle about it. Like, I'm not a diehard Guy Ritchie fan. Like, I've enjoyed his work.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, oh my god, I have to watch all like Guy Ritchie films.
Yeah.
So like,
for me in high school, those two movies were a big deal.
Yeah,
They're
fair enough. Like,
very. Also, they influenced a lot of fucking people.
For sure. Like, again, undeniably so. Like, I definitely can't blame anyone for having a bias for like a director or something like that. For God's sake, I put Godzilla in my top 10 list.
Dude, fucking Snatch. Snatch is still just this masterpiece of ridiculous fucking.
Oh, I have no doubt.
British gangster. Have you seen Snatch?
I have not.
Oh, and that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to show you Snatch, my friend. And Lock, Stock. Have you seen that?
Clips. Never watched full thing.
What the fuck? We'll got to do a double feature.
All right, Guy Ritchie night.
All right,
we
got
we'll make it happen.
We'll do a classic review or something.
We just need more free time in our lives, man.
No, I mean, I got plenty of time on the weekends over here and there, so you know.
The hard times, I don't have time on the weekends either.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, that's pretty much my take on this.
Yeah, like I pretty much agree with everything you're saying. I just didn't feel as strongly as you. I think so. It's kind of one of those reviews.
Yeah, like I said, I have a bias. It definitely calls back to something that I had a big love for back in the day.
For me, like if it's like for me, it got to the point where it was a little too self-indulgent at times. But again, this is kind of movie you're like you watch from the trailer, it's like okay, yeah, this is Guy Ritchie splooge.
It really is. That's the thing. Sometimes you watch a director just like doing their thing.
So it really boils down how much you just love Guy Ritchie's style. Because like I love
that classic style.
Like I love Tarantino movies, and I'll watch all 4 hours of the Hateful Eight like extended version.
See, here's the thing. I'll watch the Hateful Eight. I will not watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again.
I remember like once or twice again.
I can't sit through Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again because it's 3 hours of just very slow, chill like character stuff. It's charming in its own way, but it doesn't grab me as much. Hateful Eight though is really solid.
I love it. I don't think people get enough credit.
Yeah. If you're into Guy Ritchie, if you're into that kind of humor, if you'll know within the first half hour whether or not you are gonna love the rest of it or not.
Yeah, and I think that's really, again, just depends on your personal taste. If you like zany, self-indulgent director splooge, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Depends on the director.
Yes, like I said, not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, Guy Ritchie splooge is very different from, say, Michael Bay splooge.
Yeah, that it is.
So
it's like, if you like Christopher Nolan, you'll love all of Christopher Nolan. Yeah. But if you don't like Christopher Nolan, you're not really going to give a shit about anything he makes because they have very much the same tone and approach.
Yeah,
and, condolences. So
he's one of those auteur directors.
Yeah, it's very much an auteur movie. So.
Yeah, so take it for what it's worth. I think it's really
better than Aladdin.
That it is, which had nothing of Guy Ritchie in there, so I don't even know why they bothered hiring him.
Jesus Christ, I don't even know.
So I think that's all we have to say about The Gentleman. I don't suppose you're free tomorrow, aren't you?
I mean, when? We'll figure it out. Let's talk about it after we
go. Because we still got to see.
They don't care about us planning. So
I was more thinking we still got to see The Turning.
I'm not that free tomorrow.
Don't make me go alone.
I watched Doolittle with you, Michael!
I'll buy you chicken sliders.
They're chicken sliders!
But you don't have to pay for them.
I don't. So what? It's $6. My time is worth more than $6 for a few hours.
And a beer.
Maybe. All right. Anyway.
All right, thank you guys for watching.
Like and subscribe and all that.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.